Welcome back to the Morning Blend. Do you snore or sleep with someone who does? Sometimes it's just annoying, but it can also be a serious risk to your health. So today, how to stop the snoring for good.
Sounds good, doesn't it? Dr. Madan Kandula is a board-certified ear, nose, and throat doctor. He's here to talk about solutions and what they offer at the Snoring Center at Advent. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here. There's so many people you know whose ears perked up when they heard a solution for someone who snores,
right.
you know?
Absolutely.
Because I feel like a lot of people try everything. They try a lot of things, and they just sort of live with it, or they get separate beds, or they sleep in different rooms, or whatever the solution they've found that works. What causes snoring? What's behind it that's happening?
You know, it's pretty simply, it's basically excess tissue or bulky tissue in the back of the throat. That's it. So it's either your palate or your tongue. That area in the back of your throat is where the sound happens.
It's not your nose.
Not in the nose, although the nose a lot of times can be the gateway to get somebody out of trouble snoring-wise. So if somebody's trouble is happening in the throat and they're not breathing through their nose, their mouth drops open, and it really can kind of push them over the edge. So, you know, when we take a look at somebody, it's the start of your airway. Where's the start of your airway? Your nose. And if the nose is working great and you're still snoring, then we kind of move on down the line from an evaluation standpoint. But yeah, I mean, there's always something we can do to help the cause.
Does everybody with sleep apnea snore?
Pretty much, you know, but 99.9% of folks who have sleep apnea snore. Now, though, most people who snore don't have sleep apnea, and which leaves a lot of folks kind of out in the lurch. Either folks feel like, yeah, I snore, I'm pretty confident I don't have sleep apnea, I don't want to get stuck with the machine, I don't want to, you know, they sort of have to self-diagnose themselves because they don't really know what do I do. I'm snoring, my wife says I'm snoring, my husband says I'm snoring, what do I do? They don't really have a good option, and a lot of times, you know, the hard part with sleep apnea is it's certainly there, and it's certainly a significant issue and a serious issue, but again, most folks who snore don't have sleep apnea, and so the treatments for sleep apnea aren't necessarily applicable to them.
So there's different types of snoring. So what's the difference between snoring that's a nuisance and snoring that's a serious problem?
It sounds like a simple question, and it's impossible to know for sure. So the hard part is, you know, you may very well just have snoring, you may very well have sleep apnea. You can't tell on your own, nor can the person who sleeps next to you or down the hall from you. They can say, yeah, boy, you really made a lot of noise last night. And so that sounds ominous. But a lot of folks who have sleep apnea feel really, really tired, but some folks don't. And some folks who snore feel really tired. And it gets really hard to sort through. And so I think that maybe the key take-home message today is don't try to self-diagnose it. Really, we can figure it out. The only way to know for sure whether somebody has sleep apnea or snoring is to do a sleep study, and we've got a very simple home sleep study that can be done to check things out. So again, I think a lot of folks kind of put a lot of burden on themselves to try to figure out, oh, I'm going to figure this out, I'm going to go online, I'm going to, you know, get this device or this spray, and you know, unfortunately those things don't work. There's lots of things that do work, but pretty much anything you hear about out there that you can you know, kind of dial in to get is unlikely to make a difference.
How often is it that the problem is anatomical?
Almost always. So I mean, usually it's somebody's anatomy, so just basically genetics, how are you built. If somebody comes from a family of snorers, they are likely to be a snorer. If somebody comes from a family of sleep apnea sufferers, same story. So that's one part of it. Weight's the other part. So you take somebody who's got bad anatomy and a little bit of extra weight, and you just made kind of a pretty bad combination.
So what do you do to help people? How is it different than, like you said, like the dial-in stuff, you know, that doesn't work?
Well, I mean, I guess the simplest thing is we start from square one and we work through it, and it's not a one-size-fits-all, you know, kind of a thing. We've got some very nice options that are in office, and those are great. For somebody who just has snoring, we typically try to keep them away from sort of the more invasive things and try to do simple, effective things we can do in the office. Sometimes it is getting an appliance that can work, and that's just finding the right fit for them that way on up the line. So really getting an accurate diagnosis, figuring out what our options are, what is somebody's anatomy looking like. You can't, I mean, you can look in the mirror and try to figure it out, you know, but unless you're trained to figure out or know what you're looking at, that's not going to really get you very far. So really figuring it out, looking at it, evaluating, listening to the story, figuring out what our options are, and then talking it through with somebody. Again, it's not one size fits all. It's what's the right fit for you. How far do you want to get involved with this?
You've talked before about the pillar procedure. How does it work, and is there a lot of downtime with that?
No, it works very nicely. So what that is, it's basically implants we put in the back of the throat. We're showing it here. So we do this in the office. It's basically like going to the dentist and, you know, having a filling place. So we numb it up, place those in. Takes about 20 minutes, half an hour, the whole procedure, including the numbing part. You walk out on your own and you're back to work or school or wherever you need to go right afterwards. Really painless. It's a great fit when it's a nice fit, and there are times where it's just not going to pack a big enough punch, and other times where it's right on. And so there's, again, unless we can take a look back there, see what's going on, and if somebody's got a great anatomy for that, that's perfect. If they don't, there are many other options.
I just love the fact that you address everybody is so different. So I think the important thing here is to go in and find out, get it diagnosed. As you said, it may just not be a nuisance. It might be something more serious. So here's the information for Advent. The Snoring Center at Advent and the Advanced Ear, Nose, and Throat Specialist is located on North Mayfield Road in Wauwatosa. The phone number to make an appointment is 414-771-6780, or visit online at ADVENT.md. Just take the time to go in and meet with a specialist. So thanks, doctor.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you very much.